If you are here because you want to know how to calculate entropy, watch our video about entropy calculation, link in the description. Matteo, I didn't understand what entropy is. Can you give me a definition? Nope, I'll give you 3. Entropy is disorder. This is probably the answer that any beast or person gives you when you ask what entropy is. But apparently there is an unwritten social norm that forbids you saying, I still don't get it. So let's try to understand what disorder actually means. We all know the difference between a neat and a messy room. Order and disorder seem very straightforward concepts, but let's go a little deeper. The key distinction is that disorder requires more information to be described. If my Harry Potter mugs are in perfect order and I'm asked to describe what state they are in, I may just say, well, the mugs are facing up and have handles on the right, and good, I'm done. But if the cups are a mess, I have to say, well, the first one has the handle on the left, the second one is laying down, the third one is upside down, and the fourth one has put an end to its own suffering. The more information I need to describe a state, the more disordered it is. Another example, heat up some water and throw in a cube of solid broth. At first you will see the cube dancing on the bottom of the pot, but after a few minutes the liquid will be the color of my grandmother's wallpaper. Which one is the most ordered state? The first one or the second one? Matteo, the second one, of course. The broth there looks the same everywhere. You moron! The first state is the most ordered one, because you need less information to describe it. I may just say, for example, that the pot is full of water and all the broth molecules are packed here. But in the other case, I should say the pot is full of water and the onion molecules are here, here and here, and the celery molecules are here, here and here. You see, that's why the first state has more order. What thermodynamics wants to tell you is, I'm sorry, the more time passes, the more information you're gonna need to describe your broth, or your cups, or your system. The amount of information needed to describe a system increases over time, or stays the same in the best cases, but does not spontaneously decrease. Long story short, entropy always increases. Entropy is nothing but a name we give to the amount of information. Matteo, but why does entropy always increase? Well, by chance. Take 4 friends and put them in a row. Then give them some authentic Sicilian cannoli. The first guy gets 1 cannolo, the second one 2, the third one 3, the fourth one 4. The information that describes this system is each guy is holding a number of cannoli equal to its position. Easy. Okay, now say, guys, one of you has to pass a cannolo to a neighbor. So, for example, if the third guy gives a cannolo to the second guy, the situation you end up with can be described as each guy is holding a number of cannoli equal to its position, but the second guy has 1 more and the third guy has 1 less. So, due to a completely random change in the system, information has increased. And so far, it doesn't seem so confusing, right? But now let's take another step. Let's do 1 more random cannoli exchange. It could happen by chance that the 1 cannolo given a few seconds ago to number 2 goes back to number 3. I mean, it could happen, why not? But Matteo, we are back to the starting point. Information has decreased now, right? It's not true that entropy always increases. Fair enough. If the second guy gives a cannolo back to the third guy, entropy actually decreases. But this is only one among many possibilities. Let's go 1 step back. It may be that the second guy is chosen to pass a cannolo, but he's gonna give it to the first guy or to number 4. It may also be that the second guy is not even chosen and it's the fourth guy or the first guy or the third guy again, the one who has to pass a cannolo. In all these other cases, the information you need to describe the situation does not decrease, but does increase instead. When the system is in this configuration, there are 12 total possible cannoli exchanges. 11 of those increase information, so increase entropy, and only 1 reduces it. So it's much more likely that the cannolo is going to move increasing information rather than decreasing it. If you repeat this game not with 4 friends, but with all your classmates, the probability of increasing entropy with a trade is so high that there's just no way it's going to decrease. And the real systems are billions of billions times larger and more complex than this cannoli trade mayhem. And actually, particles don't trade food, but energy. With such large systems, the probability that entropy will go down by itself is so low that we can easily say that entropy only increases. It's like putting all the pieces of your Millennium Falcon in the washing machine and hoping it's gonna pop out perfectly assembled purely by chance. Okay, Matteo, this is all very nice and fun, but flash news, I'm studying thermodynamics and gases. I think that this order and disorder stuff doesn't work quite well with gases. I mean, a gas is always a big mess. How can I tell if it is more ordered or disordered? You're right. So, let's try to think about entropy in a different way. Let's set the stage. You're out for a dinner with 4 friends at your favorite Chinese Mexican restaurant. You have some spring roll tacos and then ask for the bill. In total, you spent $60. The total bill is what in physics is called a macrostate. A macrostate is the overall situation of your system. However, when it comes down to actually take money out of your wallets, well, it can get complicated. You can go Dutch and split the bill evenly, so $12 each. But your friend Jacques says, "Hey, I haven't had water because I'm hydrophobic." So he pays $8 and the rest of you pays $13. But Rocco then says, "Hey, I had the vegan lamb chili
because the lamb was vegan,
but I didn't eat chili pepper tempura." So he pays $10, Jacques 8, and the rest of you 14. And we could go on with thousands of cases. The way each one of you is actually going to pay is called a microstate. Microstates are the specific situation of your system. As you can see, a macrostate can correspond to many different microstates. And that's entropy. Entropy is the number of different microstates producing the same macrostate. And for you morons desperately asking for an equation, entropy equals Boltzmann constant times the logarithm of the number of microstates. This value actually depends on the temperature of the system. Matteo, but what does this have to do with entropy always increasing? Well, it's the same old story of order and disorder. You see, a macrostate that has many microstates, so has a high entropy, it's more likely to pop out by chance during the system evolution. Think about it. You're still at the Chinese Mexican restaurant and you're paying $60. It's very unlikely that you're gonna receive a discount out of pure kindness. This would reduce the overall bill and hence the number of ways you can split it. So it would reduce the number of microstates. But it's much more likely that Benji is having a last-minute shot of rose wine, raising the bill to $66 and forcing everyone to do the calculations all over again. The number of possible bill-splitting arrangements is just going to increase. So the number of microstates is just going to increase. This is why entropy always increases. It's just more likely to happen. And speaking of gases, a gas macrostate is usually identified by its volume, its pressure, and its temperature. A microstate is instead the way single molecules are arranged in space and how fast they move. If you want a certain volume, for example 1 liter, you can arrange gas molecules in many different ways in space, so the single 1 liter macrostate corresponds to many different microstates. Okay, Matteo, you got me with gases. But entropy does not always increase. It can be true. If I want, I can increase order in a system. I just do it. Like if I start tidying up the room, everything goes back in place and screw entropy. You are absolutely right. Actually, thermodynamics does not prevent anyone from lowering entropy. The problem is, if entropy goes down in a specific place, it has to go up somewhere else. If you tied up your room, everything seems to be in perfect order, but you spent a lot of time and a lot of energy accomplishing this task. All that energy was invested in folding clothes, cleaning the desk, making the bed, taking the cat out of the trash can, and placing books in sequence on the shelf. Putting things in place is exhausting. Your body goes through a lot of sweating and other chemical stuff, and your own entropy just skyrockets. You may not see it, but many particles move inside you, and all this movement constantly increases entropy. It's like there's a giant cannoli trade session inside your body. But okay, let's say you don't give up and finish tidying up your room. If you just abandon it to its own destiny, you can bet it's gonna become a mess again over time. The cat will drop something, your brother will jump on the bed eating pizza Pringles, Santa will come down from the chimney you don't have, and dust will cover everything. And the worst thing is that taking back the mess takes so much less energy than it takes to put everything in order. This is the third way to think about entropy. Entropy is waste of energy. Even if you work hard to put a system in order and lower its entropy, you end up wasting so much energy in your own body and in the environment around you that eventually your entropy is going to rise. In other words, tidying up the room is more tiring than turning it to a war zone. This, by the way, doesn't justify you not tidying up your room. Fight against entropy, even if it is a lost cause. So, in the end, entropy still increases. To be precise, we should say that the entropy of the room and your own entropy in total increase. In physics, we say that the system and the environment entropy variations, when summed, must always give a non-negative result. But if you are interested in how to actually calculate this stuff with equations, you can check out our amazing video about entropy calculation. Thanks for watching, guys. Support us with a tip so we can keep bringing you amazing new content. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment if you have anything to say. See you soon. Ciao!